Yeah, there's the right screen to switch to. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a pop-up edition of my stream. Today we're going to be unlocking Drizzt Do Erden, the famous character from R.A. Salvatore's books, Companions of the Hall, The Legend of Drizzt. Yeah, finally got to this point and earned enough favor to make it show as easy, so we're going to dive in and do that today. Just mainly so new players can see how it's done. I mean, this is kind of the first milestone in my new player reference. But it is kind of the first time where you're unlocking a champion just by playing the game. And it kind of highlights one of those variants. So I don't have a lot of power on this account. I have some blessings in Sword Coast, which I'll show you. Obviously no patrons or modrons or anything like that. I don't even have any gear above a blue. Most of it's green. Some is white and some is missing, so it's not a super powerful account. Mainly what's going to carry me through here is favor, hopefully. Hopefully. I didn't test this out. So we're just going to try it. We're going to see, how well does the difficulty setting tell you this is going to work. So we're going to fire right in. Basically, you have to work your way. It's pretty right at the beginning of the game. You kind of have to get, you get through the Cursed Farmer, Mad Wizard, Beast Intentions. Terror in the Dark requires that you do a couple variants, and then Unearthed Evil, Escort to Waterdeep. I skipped. I only did the variants I was required to do to get Terror in the Dark. Then I moved forward. I did Waterdeep Detours, Underdeep Cartography. This is Overdue Rendezvous is what we're going to be doing. I had to farm some favor. I farmed it in Waterdeep Detours to get up to EO9, and it just so happened I ended up at 237 EO9 at the end of my last run. I was in the EO8s before my final run, and I got a solid push. So I think it probably lights up green at 1 EO9, but I didn't stop to check. So in this, we have to get to 175. We lose a slot in the middle. Drizzt is actually going to be there, but he's not going to be useful at all. Hey, Rakadaka. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Yeah, if you're putting code in chat, that code is from earlier this week, so you probably used it already. And then the reward here is that we get Drizzt as an actual champion permanently. Forever and ever and ever. So let's hop right in. So as you can see right away, I do have some familiars. We're going to throw those out. Right away, you can see Drizzt is in the middle. I can't put anything on him. He is an NPC. He's just going to be chilling out there. Okay, so we do have a weekend buff here that will be beneficial. That's Niley's Aura of Courage. She is going to be our tank for this. So that is a little extra power that I have. But this is where my blessings are currently at. Almost full, but see it. The pop-up comes up, so I'm not buying the last bit of that. I do have some down here. So we got some heavy hitters. I invested in heavy hitters and not quick hitters because I'm using Ashara DPS. And Ashara's cooldown is greater than 4, so there's no reason for me to invest in quick hitters. We have fast recovery got maxed out, and I even have some points down here. Just from all that favor. So when you hit the EO9 range, this is how far, if you're spending efficiently, with the warning on, this is how many blessings you can technically get. As long as you don't overspend in quick hitters. I could buy more of quick hitters, but there's no point. There's no point. So this is the power technically you could have by this point in terms of favor, with this much favor. I don't have anything else, clearly. Way too new to have 2,000 loot levels, which is item levels. Got 695. So I know I'm less than 700 item levels in power across everything. Let's start bringing some champions out now that I have some gold on the field. I level up, just in case you're wondering, I level up Jarlaxle first because I want to get his gold find active. Otherwise, I'm going to bring in some champions that maybe aren't necessarily what I'm going to use long term. But just to get gold, just to click through some of this early level stuff faster. Give me all the monies. Give me all the monies. And because I'm doing everything with click damage right now, and I'll be able to do that for a number of levels, I'm only putting gold into my gold find champion. Let's see what's going on in chat. What's on the menu tonight? Well, this is what's on the menu. Irian, thanks for coming by and hanging out. This is all we're going to do. I'm just going to stream this. We'll probably chat a little bit at the end, and then that'll be the end of the stream. It's a pop-up stream. I figured I'd do this so that I could throw... I'll probably like highlight the VOD in Twitch, but then I'll upload it to my YouTube, and then there will be a reference for people going forward to go with my written guide for this stuff. Let's see. Okay. How's the stream quality, folks? Is it looking okay? It's just really odd. My bitrate seems low, but I don't know why. Don't know why. As long as it looks good and sounds okay, then we're solid. Had a fun bug earlier today. Started second time game mission with E60 gold available. Yeah, Arian, that's this is kind of a known bug. That occasionally there's this rollover when you're doing missions where you'll carry that last. If you don't pick up all the gold on the field, sometimes when you end a mission, when you load into the next one, it credits it to you. It's not reliable. I'm only bringing Black Viper in to be another rogue for Jarlaxle's gold find. In case anybody's wondering, we'll do the same thing with Hitch. Oh, is it noon? It's noon. Loading challenge details. That doesn't mean anything. Noon Pacific. The server wants to update. I love Drizzt. Super easy to use. Gears via gold chests and can DPS the soft cap. Yeah, I mean, Drizzt is an option. I mean, that's the thing, is ultimately you want as many options on your bench as possible. And Drizzt, because one of your primary goals when you first start, like, you want to set yourself short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals in this game, and then update them as you move along. I would say a mid-term goal in this game as a new player should be qualifying for Split the Party. That requires 2 champions in every slot. When you have 2 champions in 6 slots, this button, this Adventuring Parties button, shows up. And you click on it. All right, it'll have a little beta warning because technically it's still in beta. But you only have 1 party to start with. If you want to unlock a new one, you have to do this mission called Split the Party, which is always going to show, no matter what, will always show as difficulty deadly. But the first requirement here, I don't qualify for. Must have at least 2 champions in every bench slot. And that's going to unlock your second party and your first ever Modron core. So that's what I'm working towards right now. So unlocking evergreen champions like Drizzt is something I want to do. Picking up event champions. I've got some swaps here from time gates and events. Right? You want to pick up all of that as you can, but ideally you want to aim them towards, having one of these swippy swappy arrow notifiers and everything. So I'm missing a 2, a 4, a 9, and I think maybe an 11. No, 12. Speed core just hit 15. Nice. Yeah, that's going to be a nice bonus for speed for you. 5, 10, and 15 are really the kind of the goals on the speed core. Just time-gated Regis yesterday. I'm running a second party as a full Companions of the Hall with Drizzt DPS. Yeah, you can totally do it. I've done that before. There are some bonuses here in the Sword Coast campaign, like all the way that in the tier 4 you can boost Drizzt's damage. with this last one. So, higher favor, you can run it. It's not necessarily always going to be the most optimal thing, but it's super fun. It's super fun getting all the companions out there. All right, I'm going Master of Piracy because I want more gold. I still want more gold. I'll probably get there. We'll let Black Viper do her thing. Do her thing. And we'll see what happens. This is probably going to be pretty slow. I could throw on some speed potions, I guess. Do I have any? One of my personal, like, a restriction I set for myself on this count to... Again, I'm always trying to find ways to simulate a new player experience. This isn't a pure new player experience because I'm not opening any gold chests. I'm only opening silvers and electrums for now. I'll open Modron chests once I unlock my Modron cores, but I'm basically trying to limit myself to blue gear as a maximum and see if that's even a viable way to play the game. But hopefully kind of, like, obviously I know a lot about the game. I'm trying to lower my in-game power because my out-of-game knowledge makes some of this way too easy sometimes. So it's just another way I'm trying to attempt to simulate a new player experience so that I can give better advice to people, since I make a lot of new player guides. Does it matter if I use blacksmithing contracts when a champion still only has green or blue gear, or should I wait until purple? Would it be the same bump once it upgrades to purple? Your item levels carry over. They're permanent to that item slot. So regardless of what rarity of item you have, the item levels will stay there. So you can start putting blacksmithing contracts in lower if you'd like. The main piece of advice we give to people is don't put blacksmithing contracts on your core or evergreen champions. So core being these original 12, like with Minsk here and Delana. Evergreen champions are like Hitch and Drizzt once we unlock him. They get their gear and thus their duplicate item levels from regular silvers and golds, and you're going to be opening tons of those during your playtime, so they will get plenty of item levels. So target your blacksmithing contracts on the event and time gate champions that you have, and that will help keep them competitive and make them strong while your core automatically kind of goes up. Personally, on my end game account, I've got too many champions out. I didn't need to do that. I'm so used to playing 10-man in the event. On my end game account, I do not use blacksmithing contracts until I am full epic, because I tend to get full epic pretty quickly. If I don't get it during their event when a champion comes out, I will run time gates and open patron chests to max them out right afterwards. And in that hunt to get them to full epic, that's going to be raising their item levels naturally with all the duplicates I'm getting. And I currently have like a minimum item level that I try to get all my champions to, which we call like a floor. My floor is currently 90. So all the champions that I own, except for Eliwick right now, because she's the newest champion, are all at minimum item level of 90, average item level of 90. But that's in-game things. That's in-game things because I like to keep things at least at a minimum power level, and I try not to waste blacksmithing contracts. I just remember what I've been meaning to ask for a while. Is it worth it, apart from silver chests, pushing in time gates, or just treat them like variants? So my current strategy when I do time gates on my main account is I treat the first two adventures as my deep pushes. So I'll run the first adventure. I throw on hour potions because I can push pretty deep in an hour. Usually takes an hour to slowly push up from 0 favor. I will run hour potions for everything but health. And wherever it stops, the second those potions wear off, I end the run and I start a new, and then I do the second adventure and I do the same thing in that one and I push for an hour. And usually that's getting me up to about 700, sometimes 800. And I just call that good for the number of silver chests I'm going to get and the amount of favor I'm going to get. And then I do the variant, which is the third thing listed for the third gold chest, and I just bail on that one the second I'm completed, and then I end my time gate. So I'm done with the time gate usually in about 2.5 hours. Obviously, other people's experience are going to be different, but I like to run it that way because it feels like an efficient use of my time, and I get a decent amount of favor out of it, and I get what I consider to be a decent amount of silver chests out of it. On a newer account, an hour might be too long. It just depends. So on a newer account, you're probably pushing from 0 into the 50s or 60s or 70s. Like I'm talking brand new account. And I don't know if that's an hour or not. It's hard to say. You're kind of going to have to figure out what your current cutoff is. But because I have a lot of power on my main account and I have all the speed champions, I can go real far, real fast. Real far, real fast. So it's just about optimizing your push. I don't know that you necessarily need to farm favor out of a time gate, but you do want to try to get those easy to obtain silver chests. The silver chest you get for every unique 100 levels you push. So if all you can do is get past 100 and you get into the 120s or the 140s or even the 160s, but going above that isn't really gonna happen, even if you grind favor the entire time the time gate is open. Then just take your 1 silver chest and take those 3 gold chests and call it a day. But as you get more power, test yourself, see how far you can go, and start moving that goal up to grab whatever easily obtainable silver chests you can get out of a time gate, because those are gonna help you raise that power of that champion. So take advantage. Wow, Henry. Yeah, I don't measure my gems per hour. I've never done that. But I am to the point where, with my Human, where Mad Wizard and Cursed Farmer are roughly the same in terms of speed doing a cycle. So the next time I dump a large amount of stuff into Human, I may switch from Mad Wizard into Cursed Farmer, which is wild to me because Mad Wizard has just always been the home and the place to grind gems, and it's just not going to be anymore. It's just not going to be anymore. Messa Duval, listen to your advice and will use your creator code if you just purses done so with a few already. Nice, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm glad the advice helps. And I appreciate if you use the code if you're on the Epic Game Store. Garwar. Pretty straightforward. It's easy to know what my code is. It's my name. You throw that in when you make any purchases. Doesn't have to just be Idle Champions. And that supports me. If you're making them already, why not throw a little reward to a creator? How many? There's been a lot of people. Last month I had 421 unique supporters on the Epic Game Store. Thank you to everybody who helped out. Just for Idle Champions. This month, and there's still a little less than a week left. It's already at 524. Wow. Lots of people. Lots of people playing on the Epic Game Store and throwing that creator code in. The 1 hour speed potion usually gives me about 100 to 120. Yeah, then that's just kind of where you're at in terms of your power and speed. And if, like on that first run, then if you bail and then you come back and you do your second run, are you able to push to 200 or do you run into like 150? That's kind of what you want to figure out. Like figure out where your current kind of easy push cap is within a couple runs, using that kind of strategy, and then just be efficient with your time gates that way. Unless you really are aching for more favor, but that's probably, if you push both of those first two adventures pretty hard, like that with potions, then you're probably solid, and you might be able to get a little more favor, but it may not be worth your time. It'll move up over time. GameWorks, have you tried a time gate on your new account yet? I have not. I have not. Oh, wait. No, I did the natural time gate. How far did I get? I don't know if I think I might have broke 100, but I didn't get very far. Past 100. I didn't get to 200. I know that for sure. I have done one natural time gate so far. I am sitting on enough pieces to do one more. But I was waiting to get Drizzt first. And honestly, I may wait until the next natural time gate because I'm so close to getting to unlocking Split the Party. I may hold on to him so I don't waste. It's not a waste, but I don't use them on something that I could have gotten out of a natural time gate. So we'll see. I need to put more gold in Jarlaxle. Where's his next one? Is it 250? Yes, 250. Master of Piracy. This is what I'm looking for, is his piracy bonuses. And then the next one I think is like 375 or something. But right now we'll be able to click. If you look down here, I'm at level 67, so we'll be able to click kill all the way up through 67 at least. Probably a little further. I ran out of time last time gate pushing for 2 days on one mission. Oh, it happens. I think lots of people do that when they're first starting out. I probably did that when I was new. Yeah, time gates are a little different because they're not like events. Event runs you could stay in forever even after the event ends. But time gates actually cut you off because they're time travel. You get 72 hours to travel back in time. The champions generally scale, get stronger the more gold they cost to unlock in a run compared to those who are cheaper to unlock. So each champion has its own power curve. Just because I'm unlocking a champion down here that costs more gold doesn't mean they're going to come in and be amazing right away. You have to get them to their upgrades. And in each champion, it's going to depend on how far into those upgrades you're going to need to get them to make it work. So it kind of just depends. It just depends. Like a lot of people feel underwhelmed by Archon when they first are able to put him into their formation, and that's because you just unlocked him and threw him in at level 1. Just because he costs a lot of gold doesn't mean he's going to deliver a lot for that money. So you've got to kind of learn where each champion's power curve is and the appropriate time to bring them in. Because sometimes just getting them in isn't enough. Right now I'm killing everything with click damage, so I haven't leveled up anybody except for my gold find. I just wanted to get the other rogues in so they could contribute. If I had more rogues or drow, I would throw them in. I don't think that's a bard. Oh, we could bring in Spurt, actually. That would give me more gold find for now. But once I start tanking, I'm going to have to switch back to Nile. Bat, die. Got him right at the last second. I haven't manually clicked distractions in so long. So button to mute the game without doing it in settings and sound. I mean, in your audio settings on your computer, But I don't know if there's a hotkey for mute. Plus, I have the regular game audio muted, but I've turned the jukebox on, which ignores that setting. So it just kind of depends. When you start, is there any champion to get first with a time gate? If you're talking like a manual time gate, like your first manual time gate, you usually want to target something that's a strong pusher at the very least, and that's going to do a good job for you for a long time. Avron's pretty solid, but he's super high level in terms of, like, he's a high bench slot. He's a 11 bench slot, so probably right now, or Kira might be good. She's a long term. She's a debuffer you're going to use long term, and she's slot 1. I still like Crawl, but that means you wouldn't be using a Shara DPS. You'd have to use a different DPS like Hitch or an event champion you picked up. Crawl provides really strong debuffs as well as a lot of extra gold. So he helps snowball new accounts. I've been playing this one more with a Shara, and I can definitely feel that I'm not making as much gold, which is why it took longer. I had to farm more to get the gold for this. I could feel the difference. Even though a Shara might push me a little further, that doesn't mean I'm making more gold with her. So if I was doing this normally and I was opening up all of my gold chests, then Krull would probably be pretty stacked with items, and I'd be using him instead. But I like to grab power first, like a power pusher first, and then the second, I like to grab a speedster, so usually like a Deacon or Shandy, but you're playing right now, so you get Shandy. So alternating power and speed means you get power to push deeper, and then you get speed to get you there faster. And that kind of alternating helps you have a balanced progress moving forward. Oh, is you? Hold on. Does that... Now I'm curious. Oh, hold on. So that was... Did it change it? Hey, you is mute. There we go. Thank you. I didn't even know that. So you... Pressing U on your keyboard mutes. It's an odd button, but sure. I don't use the hotkeys that often. Just Y. I just demonstrate Y for people, because why wouldn't you be using scientific notation? Mute. Yeah, that's it. What are recommendations for how far to go with first time gates in terms of chess? Oh yeah, we just kind of did that. It's whatever you can easily obtain in terms of 100 levels. Like when you're brand new, clearing 100 is going to be fine, and then just make sure you grab all 3 of those gold chests. But as you progress, you want to test how far you could push in a time gate. As it becomes easy for you to clear 200, great. But you don't want to spend the 72 hours of your time gate pushing just to get one more silver chest. That's not really efficient with your time. Especially now. It used to be. It's not as efficient anymore because Electrum chests now drop white, green, and blue items for all unlocked champions. And you get a lot of Electrum chests free from streams and podcasts and stuff. So... it's not as big of a deal anymore. So I focus on just getting what's efficient and then getting out. All right, 375. Probably be the last Master of Piracy we can pull. I think the next one after that's like 500. Baloth's a pretty good pusher, a lot of power. Yeah, Baloth is actually a great early pickup too in slot 4. Because you get a swap for Jarlaxle that both provides gold and gives you pushing power. Whereas Jarlaxle just provides gold. So that's a good swap too. Absolutely. There's a lot of good, options for first choices. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for, like what your team needs, where you feel your weakness is in your formation, and then add pushing power there. What key should we make the mute button? Yeah. What is M? Oh, M just takes me to the campaign map. See, I'm learning new things. I never use my keyboard hotkeys. Oh, that's good. I always just go to the campaign map by doing this. Sure. Sure. Okay. That's fine. Here you go, folks. 4 years in. I've been playing this game almost, I think we're 2 months off of 4 years. In 2 months, it'll have been 4 years. And I just now realized there's a mute button and a map button. I think my mind was taken up with other things. I was learning too many other things. Working on balancing out my roster so that I have more champions available for patron variants. Yeah. Trying to get influence for Warden skin. Oh, yeah. It's high up there. Any optimal theory for patron influence? Should one lock as many patrons as possible and spend all influence first to global buffs? So here's the thing with patrons spending patron influence on perks. I can't really show you because I haven't unlocked anything. But I mean, you unlock one at a time. I mean, you should make them goals. Like as you get towards 30 champions unlocked, you should probably be working on some Dragon Heist stuff, right? And getting through Towering Expectations by that point shouldn't be a huge problem. Towering Expectations, for those who don't know, is the last adventure in Barovia. So that's and Barovia is a subset of the Sword Coast. So pushing through the Sword Coast and then completing Barovia and exiting back out into the regular Sword Coast hits this. So around 40 champions for that. And Elturel's Last Stand is the final adventure in Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. So yeah, these are goals, but you don't necessarily just work towards. I mean, you're working towards this stuff slowly, and you need other goals in between, right? So that's that short, midterm, long-term goals, and just constantly evaluating them as you move forward. It's a good idea. But your first goal in terms of influence is just to earn as much as you can. When you're spending it, like if you're in Mert, you've unlocked Mert and you're spending Mert influence, you want to put more in local than global, because your local means it's going to help you when you're doing Mert stuff. So you go heavy, you try to max out the local stuff and only spend a little, as much as you need in global to unlock the next tier of stuff, and then put more in local, because local is cheaper. So it's easier to get high amounts. And what you do with that in Mert is you work until you have enough so that when you switch everything over to global, so when you stop doing Mert stuff and you go to do regular campaign stuff, you reset your influence, because for patrons, you can reset your influence spent on perks at no cost. And then you spend it the opposite way. You focus on global and only spend minimal in local to max out whatever your global power is to go do other things. And those other things include other patrons as you unlock them, but it's also time gates and just general pushing and events and stuff, right? And then when you go back to do Mert, you put it back in. And the real goal on Mert, when you get Mert, is to get Challenge Accepted, which is the Tier 4 global. You want to work on, like, your first goal with patrons as you unlock them should be maximizing that, because that patron perk grants you more patron currency when you do patron challenges, which are the patron chores that we do every week, that list that resets every Monday. So that means you're earning more currency, and more currency is great, right? So that's kind of the first goal. Just remember that you can reset and bounce between local and global perks, and you should, when you're doing different things. When you're working on Mert, focus local. When you're working on anything else, focus global, right? And as you do that, as you unlock more patrons, and you, like, say you unlock Vajra, well, throw everything into global, go do Vajra stuff, focus on locals, and then when you go back to Mert, switch everything in Vajra over to global, put Mert back to local, and you'll be able to push a lot further because now you have more global power, right? So it's just those shifts until you can just max everything out, which you can easily do nowadays. Well, I say easily, but when they first came out, you couldn't max anything, so you were constantly switching over because there just weren't enough variants in the game for you to max out any of the patron stuff. But now you can max it all out, so you might as well. Might as well. I must say, from the Epic Games Store deal with Idle Champions, I had a blast watching you and the other Idle Champion streams. Not to mention the awesome community. Also made good progress. 43 champions, wow, and cleared my first 500 yesterday. That's solid progress. Thanks for making me enjoy Idle Champions. You're welcome. That's what I mean. That's kind of like I started making guides, like I said, about 3.5 years ago. It was probably a month and a half or 2 months after release, so more like 3.5 years ago. And the goal was just like, well, I need this information for me. I need to organize this so I know it. So I just then put it into a publicly readable format and shared it with everyone, so everyone could share in the information. That's it. But yeah, that's solid progress for just the few months since the Epic Game Store deal. I mean, so it's always going to depend. Some people just did blazing progress, but they also threw a lot of cash at the game, right? Like the cash in this game isn't required. You can play the entire game free to play, but spending cash speeds up progress. If you're spending it, in ways like for champions and things like that are going to help you unlock stuff. Yeah. It's pretty wild how quickly you can blow through things. I have 2,200 item levels worth of contracts. I haven't used any yet. I have Briv, don't have Human. Should I save them all to dump on Human? I would get your Briv up to, if he isn't already, up to a guaranteed skip. So up to his first 100%. Just so that when you use Briv, you're always skipping until he runs out. You may as well get it to that 100%. After that, I find Human to be the better investment in terms of speed, because Human's effect is always on and doesn't run out. I mean, he does have to be in the certain position, but I like Human better in that regard. And you can always use you can use Briv efficiently. You can not put Briv in at the start of your run and just use Human. And then as you get to the point where you start running into it's harder to kill things, then you can put Briv in and then skip through the difficult stuff, which helps speed up your later game progress. I mean, there's lots of different ways to use Briv. I just don't use Briv all the time. I only use him in deep pushes where I know I can then charge up his stuff at the end. I don't use him in any of my speed runs, really, like my gem farming. So for that, I rely on Human. So I've been focusing solely on Human. So I guess it just kind of depends on what you like and what you're using Briv for. I don't use Briv to skip bosses, like major boss fights. I want to fight those. I play this game for the challenge of those puzzles, not to just skip that challenge. So, but that's my personal choice. If you want to skip those, you'd want a higher Briv level. H is the event. Oh yeah, okay. I knew I was inventory. I just always click everything. Oh, G turns auto progress on and off. G for go. All right. I'm not pressing R. R for reset, I'm guessing is what that is. Yeah, there is an H all the way down here. I just, honestly, I'd never pay attention to it. There are lots of people that use the keyboard stuff. Oh, I need to remember A for achievements. I always, now that they've hidden it under this info button, I really just need to, that one I'm going to use a lot now. That one I'm going to use a lot now. Oh, it's C for collections, yeah. All right. O is the chest screen because open, 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 open. B for blessings, P for patrons. Yeah, these all make sense. These all make sense. Oh, and that's probably why we won't get Q, W, and E are the hotkey for the formations, and that's because this is so full of other things. That's probably why we'll never get more hotkey for formations buttons, because there's already tons of other things in there. Tons of other things in there. Yeah. What are we up to? Level 86 for click damage, so we've got a ways to go before I have to actually build a formation out. Is there an easy way to maximize favor early? Oh, like influence early? I think is what you mean because you're talking prime variants. Because patrons have influence. Favor is specifically with the gods. Patrons influence is for patrons. The rule of thumb is to do the most challenging variant you can that you can easily complete because it's going to give you the most influence right away. And in that way, you can just grab a couple and easily sometimes even one, and then have your enough for your time gate piece. I have not made a list. So there are people who have done easy variance lists. You're going to want to ask in the Discord for that. There are definitely some people recommend. I know there's some in Avernus that people recommend, but that also means you have to have unlocked Avernus. So it's going to depend on how far in the campaign progress you are. Yeah. That's not a guide I have done because there's a lot of subjectivity to that in terms of requiring, like, how much power do you have? It's very hard to say. Yeah, I think this is good advice from Henry. Only invest in Briv if you're willing to manage his stacks. If you're too lazy to do it, levels spent on him are kind of wasted. Yeah. And that's my thing. I don't want to manage the Briv stacks. I just don't. I know what you mean about playing for the challenge. I cheesed my way past the last part. Split the party inadvertently. Kind of felt bad about it, but I still took it. Yeah, no, I've finished some things in this game that were like, I've gotten to it. I'm like, oh, that's bugged. Well, I guess this boss fight's gonna be a little easy, and I'm like, oh well, like it's been around a while and they haven't fixed it yet, so I'm just gonna go through it and not wait. So yeah, I mean, I've been there. Why was I sitting on 375 for so long? Give me that gold. Yeah, and then it's 500 for the next one, and I don't know that we'll get enough gold built up to get all the way to 500. This specific level, 73, because remember, we have to get to 175. So 173 is going to be the potential challenge for this, because you have to kill the sarcophagi here, which are up here. These are the clickable things. But I can't damage it until it gets far enough on screen. There, now. Nope, there it is. To click through them. And if you don't have enough damage to kill all these skeletons, you don't move forward to be able to kill the sarcophagi. So it doesn't matter how many skeletons you kill if you can't push the progress forward. So you end up relying on Ashara's knockback, which is a 420-second cooldown. Think about that for a second. Ashara's ultimate is a gigantic fireball. The devs literally said, 420 blaze it. So it's a long cooldown. You got to wait a while. And that's the only way sometimes, if you don't have enough power to kill everything easily, you have to wait for that knockback to move forward. We need a key config menu. Anyways, with the new languages, some of those hotkeys only work on US keyboards. That's great feedback, Henry. Have you submitted that to them? Because that's something they're definitely going to need to know. Because yeah, I was not expecting this game to ever get translated and like localized into other languages. I don't think they were either, but I think with now that they're basically on almost every platform, they're like, oh, localization makes sense because lots of people in other countries want to play our game. It's expensive to do though. So kudos to them as an indie studio trying to localize. But yeah, that would be a good quality of life upgrade for people in other countries who use non-US keyboards. Do you think it's possible to Zaka farm with just having Havilar for slowing and Ashara's pushback? Like this specifically in terms of Zaka farming a boss. I mean, as long as you can get the boss stopped, sure. Ideally, you're farming a trash mob, but that doesn't always happen. That doesn't always happen. So, yeah, I mean that would be one way to do it because you spam. You let if you can live long enough to let Havilar spam through and freeze the boss, then one ult with Ashara would push it back, and then it would be stopped in place, and then you could set everything up. Sometimes the boss fight is bugged and therefore harder, so it evens out. I mean, yeah, that was kind of my theory. Is like, well, all right, whatever. But in some cases, like I have a variant that I could probably do for Strahd, and I've chosen not to in Avernus because it's the one where everyone in the party is supposed to be taking percent damage regularly, but it was bugged on release, and I don't know if it's ever been fixed, so that only one person in your party was taking damage at a time on each level. And that made it super easy to get through. And I want to do it at some point in the intended way, so I've left the Strahd and Zero ones there in the hopes that they fix it. Would you consider the most worth buying other than Human and Briv slot 4? Ooh. I mean, Briv and Human are big ones. If you're looking for speed GE, Sentries then would be the next one. Sentries speed item. Getting a GE on that lets you cap it really quickly. Outside that, it really depends on who you're using, right? Anything that's going to give you better pushing power. But that could be lots of different ones. Avrin's mirror image one is going to be good. If you're using Ashara, obviously anything that gives her her bonuses, like her bond one's going to be really good. Because this one's going to get multiple. This one's basically going to get multiplied. That's why the mirror image one is good, because it gets multiplied based off the number of mirror images, and then this one's good because it gets multiplied based off the number of bonds, right? So things like that. You look for those that are going to give you the most potential power. I guarantee someone's probably made their own personal tier list for that and probably hasn't shared it, but I just can't be bothered with tier lists. It's too much. I've got 96 active guides at the moment. I don't need a set of tier lists that people are going to complain about incessantly because they don't agree with my choices. That's why I like fact guides. It's difficult to argue with facts. So, well, not that people don't do it. It's just more difficult. It somewhat seems counterproductive for Char to have a knockback for her ultimate when she builds up DPS when she's in combat, and every time she uses her ultimate, it resets her take flight buff. Well, yeah, but her ultimate is a survivability feature for your party. So if your tank is almost dead and you haven't killed the boss yet, you knock back the enemy off of them. You're not using it for its damage in that sense. You're using it for your survivability. You knock them back. If you've got Nayeli, you then ult with Nayeli, and that freezes them, and then your tank has time to get heals from the rest of your party. And then when they come back, then hopefully you can kill the boss. It's kind of a last-ditch thing. So, you gotta ultimates aren't always about damage. Some of them you want the secondary feature more than the damage. Like Shandy's is all about... Shandy's does damage, but hers, the most important part of her ultimate, and the one you want to time its usage around, is the fact that it makes enemies miss 50% of the time for a short period of time. That can be a huge deal. It can be a huge deal. Big one about walnuts isn't just the damage, though the damage is fantastic. It's screen wide multi-hit damage. Um, but a big part of that is if you kill stuff, for everything you kill, you get 10% of your character's health back. All your characters get 10% of their health back. If you don't kill anything, they get 100% of their health as a shield. So that's a big feature that just happens to go with a nice damage ult. I missed out on Briv's and Melf's speed GEs, and I kind of regret it now. Do they come back? Yeah, they'll show up in wild offers. So they're offered once in the store, like on a weekend, like this weekend. What I got? We got Course Ultimate, right? Yeah. Course Ultimate attack damage. If you don't purchase that, then it will get eventually, it will get batched into the wild offer queue. All right. I'm making good progress with clicking. I probably should have just thrown a speed potion on earlier. Maybe we'll throw it. Do I have? I went to look at speed potions and then I forgot. Yes, I do have some speed potions. Let's throw a bit of speed on. Yeah, 15 minutes. I probably should have been using Shandy too. I was doing this suboptimally, folks. I apologize. But yeah, Shandy is perfect. If you can get her up to her, well, even if you can't get her up to her specialization, but she's going to provide speed in situations like this where you're just killing with click damage anyway, so why not? Why not? Now I can't click on the distractions. All right. Just kill those torches. I guess we're not killing them. We're lighting them all up. There we go. We're doing faster now. It's a 3.281 acceleration. I should probably just throw an hour one on too, because when we get up to that 173, if I don't have damage, that's going to help. That's going to help speed up the time in terms of getting the cooldown back on Char's ultimate. Oh. We're almost to the point where I have to put a real team in. We're almost to the point I have to put a real team in because it's had boss almost 8 spurt. Poor spurt. Poor spurt. What's going on, Maelstrom? I am doing pretty good today. This is usually Sunday is usually the one day off I get during the week where I don't work my other contract. And I don't stream for CNE, and I usually don't stream for myself, but I'm like, hey, I want to do this unlocked Drizzt stream. All right, now we're gonna have to bring in and level people up now. Okay, I'm going durability. We're gonna go Battle Master. Celeste is in the middle, so I'm gonna go Life Domain, so it still heals Nayeli all the way in the front. I'm going to go College of Valor. We're going to end up bringing Black Viper out. I'm going to go Charismatic over here. This should let me tank this. And kill it, though. Just going to manually click kill these archers in the back, because why not? There. We still lost a bunch of people, but that's fine, because we have no DPS. We have no DPS. We've just got Shandy. All right. Yeah, okay, everything's coming back now. All right, we're going to go Potpourri with her first bond. Let's spend efficiently. Where are my breakpoints? Yeah, we can get 400, 475. Almost get to 500. Come on, get there. Yeah, all right, that's some more gold for us for a little bit. I'm not just maxing out spending on this stuff. I'm taking them to specific upgrades that I know are manageable. Like here, I'm going to 420 to give her as much health as possible. I can get Celeste with this amount of gold up to 500, which is a breakpoint for her. 500. Bruenor has this kind of what I call a trough, where between 500 and 700, he doesn't really have anything useful for the team. So I always very slowly click up once I get there. But now I know I can get to 700. I can actually get him to 800 and 900. All right. We got a good amount of power here. But ideally, I don't want to spend them into things that aren't useful for everyone. Like Hitch has an upgrade of 360. I always forget that one. But then he jumps all the way to 425 without nothing, all the way to 490 until he helps the group again. So 130 levels. That's a lot. So I don't need to put anything into Hitch right now. Clappy should have a 525. Yeah. There we go. So I'm trying to just spin them into their power curves and not have them in those self-damage things that don't help the group. Self-damage upgrades only help your DPS. So when I'm trying to hit a specific target in a variant where I'm restricted, and here I'm down, I'm only using 8 champions, I need to make sure that I'm spending my gold as efficiently as possible. What is the goal challenge you're accomplishing with this account? I'm playing through this account as just specifically trying to simulate a lower power experience. Obviously, after this, it's not so much a new player experience. A true new player experience means I'm opening up everything I get. But my challenge on this account is not to open gold champion chests, any kind of gold gear chest. I'll open the Modron component chest once I unlock Modron cores, but I'm limiting my champion power in terms of the rarity of their items. I'm going to get them to blues, and that's it. And I'll get them to blues via silver chests and electrum chests only. So all my gem spending so far has been, after I bought the Mage Hand, I've been just buying lots and lots of silver chests. Everything else is fair game. I'm just trying to balance the power of my champions with my personal knowledge of the game to try to simulate the challenge a newer player that may not have the information I have would have trying to play through this stuff. Do you think Ashara will be more useful than Minsk with your item levels and available champs? Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll find out. I could be wrong, but I mean, Minsk does have this self-damage blue. The problem with Minsk is he's at his best when he's killing his favored enemies, and there's no guarantee. You're never going to have, and I'll say this: you're never going to have the chosen favorite enemy on all 50 levels, right? So you end up walling with Minsk wherever you're fighting something that isn't his favorite enemy. They went all in on him in that regard, and it actually limits your progress with him. So Ashara is going to be a straight up damage dealer that functions everywhere and against everything. So I'm just going to set up going with her. She currently isn't lighting up her bond. As you can see, I only have one. But I will be swapping some of these rogues out in the back who are currently just feeding me gold. When I run into trouble, I will swap them out and put in Makos and Tyrell. And thus I will have more of a power pushing formation. Until then, I'm soaking up as much gold as possible alongside my power and spending efficiently. Oops. It's 345. Yeah, 345 gives me all champs damage. The next upgrade for Bruner is at 1,000. I think I've got a 575 with Calliope. Yeah, 100%. So I'm getting this 100% Bardic Inspiration bonus, but if somebody else has a bonus that's higher, like I can get, well, 200% with Ashara self-damage, I'm going to spend my gold there first. And then I will come back when she has 50 banks levels again. I can see, because I've got this on X100, I can see how many levels I have that I can purchase at once. And I can just jump straight to those levels. I'm holding down Alt and Shift at the same time to buy and select an upgrade, in case people are wondering. You think Eliwick is good for farming or pushing or both? I mean, she can be, if you get good RNG with her, with the card she pulls, she can be good at all of those things. I used her on stream on Friday. Was it Friday? Saturday? No, Thursday. God, I streamed so many times this week. Thursday, I believe. No, it was Friday. I did all the variants, and then I think I did a deep push, and I farmed. Yeah, so Friday, one of those two streams, I pushed super deep and did Nazaka farm, and Eliwick. I actually threw in Eliwick because she had built up a lot of gem stacks. So she contributed a lot more gold find in her slot than Wolfgar would have, which would have been the other champion I'd used in that slot. So. But if your RNG goes bad with her, you've just got to have another option because she isn't going to help at that point. Okay, so I had banked, I made this purchase on Hitch, not because it was going to get me anything, but because I'd maxed out to X100, I couldn't see past that to know how many other levels there were. So I knew I could easily buy that next upgrade, and now, again, I know I need to get to 490 to double the effect of Ricochet, which helps the group out. I can buy that, but I want to check just real quick. 345. 395 is the next one. Yeah, 395 is a tanking buff. More health. That's basically a tanking bonus. I need 40 levels to get to 590 for Celeste. And I think that's 100%. Yeah, Crusader's Mantle 100%. So we'll do that one first. And then she's close to a healing upgrade. And then we'll do Hitches next. So I know I'm going there. I'll just go ahead and buy into it. There we go. All right. Isn't Delana a good DPS? I see you weren't using her. I've got decent deer on Delana. I mean, if we ran into trouble, I might try her out. I do have potions of respec, like potions of specialization to respec Ashara, but right now I've chosen Ashara, and you only need 1 DPS in any formation. Like you're focusing your stuff on 1 DPS. So I have Hitch in to buff Ashara, because if I put Delana in, Delana's only useful as the DPS. Delana doesn't contribute anything else to a party unless she's the DPS. So. Yeah, Delana was a meme when the game came out because Hitch was our first evergreen champion. And they were just, the thing that this game has, the one major problem this game has is that when it comes to the DPS class, you're either the best or you're never used. By the majority of people in terms of the meta. If you're not the best, then you may as well be trash because you're sitting on the bench forever. And Delana got benched early on because she just wasn't great. There were lots of other DPSs to use. And Hitch could buff the party or be a DPS. So he was multi-talented. So Delana got benched and has been riding the bench ever since for the most part. She gets used. I've used her to complete variants. There are variants where you're using Delana DPS, or you're not. You're not completing the variant, because the thing is she has great wave clear. She has multiple. Her basic attack rotates through 3 different types of attacks, and 2 of them are wave clear ones, and it's solid. The downside to Delana is she has these waves and troughs of damage, and because you're not getting consistent DPS when you need it, she's seen as less than great. Nowadays I do have a lot of options here now, but the best slot in the game, the most highly competitive slot in the game is this one. I don't even have all of the stuff here, but you've got Ashara, you've got Krull, and you've got Shandy. There's enough competition just in those. But yeah, now you've got Human for speed over here. You've got Beetle and Grim for buffing and DPS. You've got Hitch for buffing and DPS. Delana just as a DPS that she doesn't necessarily have a niche to slide into. You need to be useful in a specific scenario to be a good option in a slot if you're not the strongest in the slot. And I don't know that she has a niche that she's super useful in. I don't know that that'll ever happen. There's over 80 champions in the game now, so it's harder and harder to make sure that everything is useful. It's only going to get harder. Yeah, patrons love Delana. It's because it's called a patron challenge for a reason. They're challenging you to make Delana your top DPS. Sometimes that's difficult. I didn't seem to find a better DPS for now, so she seemed good to me. Yeah, absolutely. Look, that's the thing. No matter what anybody says about DPS, if they're working for you, use them. Just know there are better options out there, and eventually you'll get them. And a lot of times early on, everything's super difficult and subjective because it's based off gear. It's based off what your gear is at. So that's why I said, right now, I actually have a couple blues on her, which gives her a little bit of an advantage over Ashara in terms of itemization. Yeah, so it's possible she could do well for me, but I would have to respec Ashara into elves and dwarves, I believe. Hold on, is it elf or yeah, elves and dwarves? All right, I think we are to the point. Let's see. Oh, no, we've got more power upgrades. Never mind. We're getting real close to the point where I'm going to want to get rid of Black Viper. She's still in. She's only here contributing gold find, though, but she's doing a bang-up job of it. Jarlaxle is also only contributing gold find, but we will get rid of Black Viper before we get rid of Jarlaxle. And we will probably bring in, we'll go Dark Blessing, 45 and get to 65, and I can get to 80. All right, that's his curve. The next one is at 105. Yeah, I don't care about draw power. So that's, Makos is ready to come in. We got another one there. What's after 575 for Calliope? 625 is defensive. Okay. 645 is offensive. Okay. Well, let's give the defensive one. And we're going Moonbeam, which means I want to get to 150, and then it's 250. There we go, 290. How high can I go with here? 330 is the next new Moonbeam. Still got a lot left. All right. We farmed a lot of gold. That was fantastic. Here's his trough. I got no upgrades for any, no bonuses for the party for a while. Until 515. All right, we made it though. After 515, 600. All right. I haven't had to use any ultimates yet to kill anything, so that's also good. So we've swung well through the power curve, even though, again, I'm in greens and blues for the champions that I'm using. I have no purples. I've got what should be comparable blessings to anyone here. Any new player coming through here should have better gear, because they should have been opening gold chests as well along the way. So I feel like this is a pretty good representative run up to this point. How is the stream quality, folks? My bit rate is all over the place today, and that worries me. Are the audio and video still solid? Wild. Normally I'm running at like 4,000 bit rate. Right now it's at 1139. And I'm not dropping any frames or anything. Audio is a little choppy at times. Image quality is 1080 at source. Yeah, I mean, that's what it should be. So it must be dropping out some audio at this low bit rate at times. I don't know what's going on with my cable today. I'm usually fine up to like 5,000. The max is usually 4,500 for this, but my upload's supposed to be really good. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I had some issues yesterday with my ISP, so maybe I'll have to smack some things around. Everything else looks good. Everything looks to be... Yeah. Low CPU usage, low memory usage. Low usage on the graphics card. It's not super hot. Yeah, but for whatever reason, I'm just not sending lots of data. I don't know. All right. I'm seeing some build-up. We're not killing as quickly here, so we're going to swap Black Viper out in for Makos. Now everything should die all the time. Yeah, let's do kind of the wave clear ultimates to help us push forward. I will say that when Jamila is useful, she's really useful. I mean, Jamila's got nice multi-attack, which can be useful. Again, she's a very straightforward, either you're using her as the DPS or it's not, or she's not really there contributing much else, so it's nice. At least Mints can come in and just give you favorite enemy bonuses. And I think he's got some all champs damage bonuses as well. I don't know if Jamila does. $157. Char's clearing everything in one hit. Even when our ultimates aren't firing, so that's good. There's a nice thing about a Char. You get a lot of missiles. I do wish they would put how many she is currently at over here. Or maybe up here, like an X3, X4, X5. Like, that would be neat. Quality of life UI stuff. One of these days. Maybe. Just finished Split the Party 2. Congrats! Enjoy. Now you have to level up that fast core to level 3 without automation. So enjoy playing the game in manual mode again for a while. I know everyone enjoys that so much. But it's a good reminder of how far the game has come when you have to go back and play it manually. Okay, there's 410, 645. What's the next one for Hitch? 590. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. The next champion I will pull out if we need more power is Jarlax. So Jarlax will come out and Tyrell will go in. At that point, I won't get any more upgrades, most likely, because we'll go into a gold trough because we'll lose all the gold find from Jarlaxle. But it's fine because we're at 160. That should push us through 175 easily with just the upgrades that we've gotten so far. Come on. Flip it on its back. Pat its tummy. It'll fall asleep. Oh, wait. No, that's... It's not going to happen in this game. So I'm feeling pretty confident that we're going to be able to just breeze right through this. Which is, it's nice. It's going to be nice to know that you can do this with green-blue gear. Right? Green-blue gear. These are all core champions. Well, Hitch isn't evergreen, but literally you unlock Hitch by going to the main menu and signing up for the newsletter. You can have him day 1, minute 1 if you want. So I kind of consider him a core champion, even though he is technically your first and easiest evergreen to obtain. We recommend to just get all champs first or get more gear for other useful ones through time gates. I'm a big fan of using your time gates to collect the champions, because now that Electrums drop gear up through blue, and you get them regularly, you can still you can have solid gear, workable gear on all your champions without having to farm time gates for the gear. So I would say probably prioritizing just going through and getting all the champions. You're probably going to get some... Well, yeah, I mean, you're guaranteed one that you don't have in every natural time gate. And then after you have everything, those natural time gates are going to give you, repetition. And then you can start focusing on just the champions that you want to get to full epic first. Yeah. I would say collect all the champions, get all your bench slots, and then go from there. So normally I have to split the party logo on champions when I'm in a free play. It's a visual bug that held over from your run. Just restart your client. It should be fine. Should be fine. Anytime you see there's a lot of visual carryover bugs, especially from variants. Anytime you see them, if it bothers you, just restart your client. Come on, one more. There it is. All right, 165. 10 levels from Drizzt. Still doing good damage. I can upgrade Ashara, so I'm going to do that. Ooh, if I could get to that triple bond, that would be smooth sailing. I'm purposefully not using ultimates. I decided I'm just not going to use them at all. So I guess I can just put the familiars back out here to pick up the gold. Do I have another? Oh, 650. Wow. Yeah, that's why I didn't know what it was. I haven't gotten to 650 on him yet. That's a ways up there for more gold. You think you have all of the more relevant champs? Yeah, but relevant is... if you have all of the more relevant champs, you're probably now unlocking all the patrons. And as you start trying to do patron variants, you're going to need deeper and deeper benches. So get out there, get all those other champions. Get all those other champions. I would leave, if you're going to leave some for last, ignore Kreidel, ignore Rosie. Hold on, let me go through them. Let me make sure. Cradle and Rosie. I can't make sure because I can't see them all on this account. Oh. I still want to be able to click this button and see all the champions and just have the ones that I don't own be grayed out. I want that so bad. Hold on, let me pull it up over here and talk about which ones I would leave for last. Slot 1 are all useful. Slot 2, I would leave Krydle for last. I would probably rank Krydle and Talon lower on the scale, but Krydle's last. Slot 3, like Mehen and Binwin can probably be towards the end. Prioritize the others first. Slot 4, Ishi's probably last out of that slot to pick up. Slot 5, Dadius, you could probably leave. Dadius and Puent, you can, and Xander. Dadius, Puent, and Xander are kind of all, they're lower on the list. Slot 6. Slot 6 is hyper competitive. If you don't have Sergeant Knox, you could wait on Sergeant Knox. Slot 7. You could probably wait on Black Viper and Lucius. That doesn't mean they're last. It's just you prioritize them lower. 8. Oh, 8's got a lot going on. 8, Walnut and Vlania would be lower priority. 9, Shaka might be lower priority just because of the RNG factor, but 9's a decent slot. 10, Rosie for last. Faux show. The rest are all decent. 11 are all decent. And 12 are all decent. So, yeah. Oh, we died. We died. All right. Can I get power from leveling up anyone else? 650 gives me a Crusadel's Mantle buff. I need 450. I don't know why I keep closing this. I can just click up here. I'm so bad at this game. 590. All right, there we go. That's a triple damage boost. That needs to go all the way to 600. Okay, can we get past 169 now? Oof. Okay, yeah. Running out of power. Running out of power. I didn't even clear that with Jarlaxle's ult, so I know we're running out of power. Tyrell should give us the boost we need to get through the last 6 levels. We cleared it. Let's see what we do against... Oh, jeez. Just no damage at all. We're doing no damage to this stuff. That's a problem. Okay. So we're going to bring Tyrell in at 600. Oh, yeah. EO8 gain in damage, folks. We're on cruise control now. Yeah, I was leaving Jarlaxle in just to see how far I could get with him. I got to 169. I cleared 169 with him. Nice, nice. But yeah, adding in Tyrell gives me an EO, like an EO8, EO5, EO8 boost in damage, which should carry us through. Jarlaxle was there to get me all these levels on my other champions. He made us a lot of gold, so he definitely contributed to this run. Yeah, he was in at the beginning, but we just... If I could have finished with him, I would have, but yeah. Let's see. There are definitely some non-patron variants where I'm like, sweet, easy, start it, and then I have a total of 5 eligible champions. Yes. Oh yes, Strahd. If once you get into Barovia, there are some variants in Barovia, just base variants, that are incredibly challenging. I think they're wonderful challenges. Some of them are like, well, you can only use the starting 9 champions, and it's like, what? Not the 9 bench slots, just the 9 champions, and it's like, ooh, that's when you end up with a Dell and a DPS formation. So the nice thing about here's something we talked about. Ooh, see, we're cruising right through. This is what I said would be the problem if we were going to have a problem, and it's not because of that. The damage we got from Tyrell, all the level up in power we got from Jarlaxle's gold is letting us cruise right through 173, which is the challenge level. So we've got this. When you swap out Jarlaxle at the end of the run, even though you're losing all that gold temporarily, remember that you are going to continue every level that you go further. The gold that an enemy drops is going to go up. Eventually, you will make up, if you get a big enough damage boost swapping in another character, you will end up making up in power, pushing distance, the gold find you lost with Jarlaxle, and you will start gaining gold again, and you will get more favor on your run. So this is why it's important to, like, you can totally use gold find formations early on to just push your insta-click death wall, and then slowly start swapping out for power to then push further. Just make sure Jarlaxle's the last one you swap out. Hey, stars in chat if you got them. If you follow this channel, you should... Didn't I make stars as part of the follower emote? I can't remember. Everybody should have stars, right? I want to go check. All right. So that completed Overdue Rendezvous. That was straightforward. This should be, again, I went in with I went in with a little over 2 EO9 favor. I think 1 EO9 should make it show as green. I don't think you should try it. If you try it before you're green, it shows as green easy difficulty. It's going to be a lot more challenging than it was here. So don't give yourself that headache. Cruise through it like I just did. There we go. Now we get Drizzt to Orden. We will hop into a mission, and we will look. There you go. If you hadn't been using speed potions, it would take just under 3 hours to do that. But we use speed potions. Yay! Okay. So yeah, I was at like 237 EO9, I think. So 1 EO9 is going to be a little bit harder, but if you use that those gold find champions first, it should be okay. That unlocks the Silken Swamp next. However, that is what finishing Overdue Rendezvous is what I call the first milestone for Sword Coast, and then you bounce over. In my opinion, you bounce over and you go to Tomb of Annihilation, which I've already done the first 2 missions here. So exploring part. Let's hop in here just to show off Drizzt a little bit. Let's get some gold so we can unlock him. Remember, he is a higher slot champion. For those who don't know. So this will take a little bit. Let me throw some speed on. And probably, you know what? Give me some clairvoyance. I need more favor in this campaign. Let's get up to the point where we can put him in and show him off a little bit. The age-restricted variant in Tomb of Annihilation was super hard, even with a fully epic level 6 Monarch core. Yeah, could be, yeah. There are definitely a lot of variants out there. There's close to 200 variants, not counting events. Remember, there's what, 60 event champions, and each event champion has 3 variants of their own. So in total, there's coming up on 400 variants in this game, each with their own different restrictions. So some of them are just difficult and painful, and they only get worse with patron restrictions. So, but that's the puzzle portion of this game. It isn't just about how far you can push. Some people just want to play it for that. That's fine, but that's the core premise of this game is managing a formation and using that to complete all of these objectives. Yeah, Tron, it's up there now. I'm not on my main account, so I can't see. I usually judge it by how many patron variants I've done, and I think I was coming up on 200 for Mert. But they add more variants all the time. So it's only ever going to go up. Oh, silly closed captioning. All right. I hope they do an update for that resolves that issue. Sometimes it just stops. It continues to close caption, but it doesn't continue to scroll down. Just checked a bike. I've got 201 Mert variants done, 3 left to do. Okay. Yeah, so 204. And then I can't remember exactly how many event champions there are. I just threw 60 out. There's 12 core. There's 6. Is there 6 evergreen now? Drizzt, Azaka, Dragonbait, Alcoria, Rhea. No, 5. Did I miss one? 17. That puts us at, what, like 66? 18 evergreen? Oh, well. Yeah, so 65-ish event Hitch. Oh yeah, Hitch, Drizzt. See, I always think of Hitch as a core. Hitch, Drizzt, Azaka, Dragonbait, Alcoria, Rhea. So 18 core evergreen. That means the remaining, so 65 event champions, each with 3 variants. That's 195, right? I did that math right, at least. Please, somebody tell me I did that math right. So 400 total variants in the game currently. Yeah, see, it's just so ingrained in my mind because you just pick up Hitch right away. That it's like, to me, it's just like, I mean, I put him in the evergreen section of my guide listing because that's what he is. But in my mind, he's stored in the core champion column. Because the moment I start up a new player account, I sign up for the newsletter, which is why I get like 4 different email codes from the newsletter. I only ever use the one on my main account, though. It doesn't make any sense for me to claim them on this account because I'm not even opening gold chests over here. Okay, Drizzt comes in right here. So he's a Mako swap. Boom. Lawful Good, Drow Ranger. He could probably get multi-classed at this point, but I don't know what D&D considers him. Like Wizards of the Coast actually considers him. So part of the companions of the hall, and you can see all the rest. He is a pure DPS. So when you're using him, you are only using him as DPS. Keep that in mind. He does have multiple skins. If you click on him, it tells you. It's supposed to tell you what you can unlock them from. I do not have 20,000 gems for that. I feel like there's more. He definitely has more, right? Maybe not. All right. Let's actually swap him up here. And in this regard, I will... if I want to push with him, I will end up putting Ashara in elves and dwarves because drow are elves. For those who do not know, D&D, drow are dark elves. So you can see his base attack changes as he attacks. He goes from Icing Death to Twinkle and back again. is his dual wield property. So yeah, this formation would be a full-on Drizzt formation, which basically looks like any other formation because he's basically a standard swap-in DPS. He doesn't need anything special. He doesn't require anything special from his layout. Drizzt could be tagged as gold. Well, there's a lot of champions in the game who contribute gold find that could be tagged with gold and probably should be, but aren't. For whatever reason, they're overly generous with the healing tag. They gave the healing tag to both Regis and Eliwick, and in my opinion, those aren't healers. Do they occasionally offer up some healing in a rare situation? Sure, but in the same way that Drizzt offers gold. At least Drizzt is more reliable with it, and it's always on once you unlock it. But yeah, there is definitely some cleanup that could be done if they wanted to in that regard, but it's never happened. It's never happened. You get Guinevere right away at level 20. Drizzt attacks of a 25% summon Guinevere to fight by his side for 30 seconds. Guinevere attacks twice and deals the same damage as Drizzt and causes a 20-second bleed on top of that. So that makes Drizzt a very nice multi-hit champion for clearing out hit-based obstacles and enemies and armor-based stuff. The nicer effect from Drizzt when you're using him in a party, in my opinion, when you level him up a bit, is that when he attacks with what he gets an ability later, when he attacks with one of his weapons, it can cause enemies to miss. So when they're attacking, and that can be super nice, especially against enemies that target your whole party with an AoE effect, because it just makes that whole AoE effect missed. So we could call him Midst instead of Drizzt, if you want to in that regard, because that's what he does. He makes people miss. There, now we'll get to see Guinevere. Hey, she's out already. Awesome. Awesome. So we did it in about an hour and a half. Maybe. Oh no. What's my uptime? That one? Yeah. I'm like, that clock stopped for some reason. This one's still going. Yeah. About an hour and a half. Unlocked Drizzt with the help of some speed potions. Like I said, probably closer to 3 hours if you're not using speed potions, but it's not the worst evergreen milestone in the world. So I will continue to play on this account and push towards the next milestone, which will be Azaka, unlocking Azaka. A little further on, I'm going to hit that map button. A little further on, I only have this unveiled, but right down in here will be Tomb of Annihilation, and she's unlocked. She's unique in that she's unlocked over the course of 2 different variants. You have Azaka's Procession Part 1 and Part 2, and those both end up being down here. So I will work towards that. And when I get there, then we'll do another one of these pop-up streams, probably on a Sunday again. And I'll just show, once again, unlocking Azaka. I will try to use core-ish champions and the evergreens I've collected so far. So Hitch and Drizzt. And see if we can beat it that way. If I need to swap things out, I will, but I want to try to use champions that I know everybody has available. If you want more information about Drizzt, you can head over to my guides. Is it under guides? It is under guides. There you go. All 96 of them you can find at that link I just dropped in chat. It's over on the subreddit. The subreddit has a wiki. If you go there manually, you can just go to the wiki page and then click on Resources by Garwar, and then they're all listed off there. And there is a guide under Evergreens to unlocking Drizzt. I will be, once I upload this VOD to YouTube, I will link the VOD in that guide going forward as well, so people can watch an actual walkthrough of unlocking Drizzt. So, who will be interesting to see who will be the main DPS? I feel like for Tomb of Annihilation, it's going to be a Shara again. There's an argument that if they're equal in gear, Drizzt might be a viable option. But, and that I say that because Ashara has a slow base attack, 7 seconds. Drizzt is at 4.8, so he's kind of got a mid speed. He does have that multi attack, but he has this icing death at 60. When he attacks an enemy bleeding from Guinevere, he does more damage, and his next base attack cooldown is reduced by 50%. So this speeds up his attack speed. He is a multi-hit champion, and he can make things miss, which may come in very handy against a Sararak. It's possible. It's possible. So yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to call it a stream because even though we got a lot of people here, let me find somebody for us to raid. Hold on. Is it time for... who started up? I know there's lots of awesome streams today. Let me see who has already started theirs. Ooh. Are they? Oh, they're doing celebration. Yeah, hold on. Oh, I know where we're going. The Gax Pack is back. That's Jason Charles Miller's, where Jason Charles Miller, the host of the Bard from Bardic Inspiration, one of the two hosts, along with Dylan. The Gax Pack is their D&D stream over in the GaryCon Live channel, and they are back now on their new day, which is Sundays. And that's featuring Adriana Cazador, B. Dave Walters, Viv Vidka, Eric Campbell, and Eliza Pearl. So we will go raid them. So please join in the raid, which means you just need to be present in chat, and have a good D&D day. I'll be back streaming on Tuesday with idle chatter in between Champions of Psychology and before Bardic Inspiration, because that's how we do. Thanks everybody. Let me go to a credit screen. I still forgot that stupid button to roll credits, but thank you to everybody who followed and hold on, you know what? I'm going to fix this real quick. Let me fix this real quick because I like thanking everybody. Let me find the credits button because I like rolling credits. There it goes. There it's going. So make sure you do the raid symbol if you've got it. If you don't, just throw out a Yarawar, so something like this when we get there. And be good to them. Alright. Let me do the raid. Bye, everyone.